Interesting news. Recent focus groups conducted by the Super PAC Republican voters against Trump found that swing voters don't like Harris. And focus groups conducted by the Democratic National Committee also found Harris rubs some people the wrong way.
Yes, CNN dropped a bombshell on Kamala campaign, and it is extremely concerning. Before we even go into this clip, there is something I realize. Kamala campaign doesn't want her to make a little mistake that can jeopardize her whole campaign reason. They don't want her to appear on camera. CNN saw this, and a lot of people are concerned with this. It is important. We take an exclusive look.
Interesting news. Recent focus groups conducted by the Super PAC Republican voters against Trump found that swing voters don't like Harris. And focus groups conducted by the Democratic National Committee also found Harris rubs some people the wrong way. So, Jonah, how big a drag is Kamala Harris on the ticket?
I think she's a pretty big drag. I think she was arguably Biden's worst political decision.
Biden's worst political decision. That's what CNN was saying about her a month ago. A month ago.
I generally think going into the future that Democrats really should not nominate or front people who come from decidedly all blue states unless they're like once in a generation talents like Barack Obama. Because Kamala Harris does not know how to talk to the center or to the right. She only really knows how to sort of speak the language of the base of the party, and that's 34% of the electorate.
Let me pick up on that, because it's not just focus groups that are down on Harris right now. In a recent poll, national poll, 40% approved of the vice president's job performance, while 55% disapproved. And Kara, to Jonah's point.
Very first point, I want to show you Trump has opened up a wide lead over Kamala on issues voters care most about. The race should not even be close. Why the hell would anyone vote for Kamala? The economy is beating her inflation. US-Mexico border, these are things people are concerned about. Taking a look at this poll, 56%, 61, and 78. This is extremely concerning.
Whether the Harris hurricane lasts is another thing. Kamala Harris is not indestructible. She has served as an undistinguished, nearly invisible vice president. There appears no accomplishment she can point to for her most important responsibility, addressing the origin of the border crisis. Second, she picked a nice guy from Minnesota in Tim Walz, but he might turn out to have as many warts as J.D. Vance. And I don't mean the allegation of stolen valor. He spoke sloppily in that instance, but I don't think there's much there.
Oh, there's stolen valor there for sure. He lied about the rank that he retired at. We've made plenty of videos talking about this. The Democrats, they've made some mistakes here, okay? They chose a candidate that has never had a positive approval rating. She already tried to run for president. That didn't work back in 2019. She was absolutely embarrassed, okay? She had no chance. And there's a reason why. It's because people did not like her, which is why her campaign is hiding her and then running more ads than the Trump campaign so they can delay the inevitable. Now, what they have working for them is they only have 80-something days until the election. It's not like they're starting, last year. So it works for them and it also works against them. It's a very interesting strategy they're dealing with. The point being, though, is that nobody likes her. And when they see her for who she really is, it's going to blow up in her face. This is why this guy's calling her out, because it's only going to last for so long. And then obviously the other mistake was she chose a candidate that is absolutely farther left than she is and does not appeal to people that are in the center, does not appeal to moderates. He appeals to progressives. That's a big problem for the country, that is, but he's got other problems on his hands. Let's listen to this.
But the CNN K-File report of his congressional campaign deceit over his DWI is a real and embarrassing issue. As usual, the cover-up was worse than the crime. It's still too soon to know how much she might regret not picking Josh Shapiro. And third, thus far, Harris has had a free ride. She's not given any media interviews, hasn't faced voter questioning. When asked recently, she said that she would give an interview by the end of the month. She said that on August the 8th. No doubt she wants more time on the clock to prepare answers as to why she's flipped on health care, fracking, weed, and the death penalty, to name just a few. Sooner or later, she's going to be held accountable and face pressure that she has thus far largely avoided. Just yesterday, her first substantive economic policy proposal, it received mixed reviews. Bernie Sanders loved it. He called her idea a strong progressive agenda, but the Washington Post said that her proposals were gimmicks. CNN's analysis said that her plan could create more problems than it solves. You'd think that she'll enjoy another week of positive coverage amidst the DNC, which will feature 3 Democratic presidents, but with passions inflamed about Israel and Gaza, there is an air of unpredictability as to what will happen in Chicago. As I like to say, still to come, events we could never foresee and individuals whose names that today we don't even know.
Yes, I really wish CNN should continue like this. It is impressive to see how they are unveiling a lot of things pertaining to her. We have seen how she is avoiding the press by all costs. She recently did an interview with him, which at the end of the day, I understand it was just to cover all softball questions. I never saw a single hard question on that interview. The DNC will be explosive. A lot of things will happen. And to me, and my observations on what I'm saying, a lot of protests will be around. People supporting Palestine and people against, Israel, things like that. So it is important to know that a lot of things might go wrong here. If they are sleeping, thinking that, we are up there in the polls, or things that you don't do politics like that. I've never seen a campaign this way where, the people top there are refusing to answer questions. It's insane. You cannot protect yourself from criticism, be able to take questions, respond to what people are writing about you. That is what makes you a politician. You cannot just go and stay on your base. Kamala has been in her base for a very long time. This was a time where she could come out and say, answer the questions. So I don't understand the kind of politics these people are playing.
But it was a strong finish. And what became very clear through the course of the night is that Joe Biden is fighting on behalf of the American people, on substance, on policy, on performance. Joe Biden is extraordinarily strong. And
but I'm sorry, on substance and
debated.
Policy and performance tonight, I mean, the president's performance tonight clearly was disappointing for his supporters. CNN is reporting Democratic lawmakers watching the debate were worried about the president's performance. One said it was a disaster. Another called it a train wreck. Those are Democrats especially worried that Biden did not punch back on Trump's lies.
Yeah, look at her. I mean, she can't handle when people push back. She doesn't have answers when people push back. This is why they're trying to delay her.
Two things. I think number one, she took a lot of far left positions during her first run in 2019 and 2020. She has, temporarily kind of moderated these through some anonymous quotes from aides saying, well, she doesn't really want to ban fracking anymore. She doesn't want to do this, doesn't want to do that. This new program that she's kind of doing is pretty far left, $25,000, price controls essentially. That's number one. But the other thing is, kind of conveniently forgot she was vice president for the last 4 years when a lot of the housing market crisis was at its worst, when inflation was at its worst. So there's a lot of memory holding that. But look, when it comes to the $25K, I mean, you just added $25,000 into every price onto every home price in the country. Because if you're giving that away essentially for free, people will add it into the price.
Out today that shows 45% of Americans, I'm reading from it here, favor Trump's handling of the economy over Harris to 38%.